With every match, a warrior is born. Step inside the ring. This is the Whip Podcast with your host, devastating Daryl Pace and Deshaun Whipdog Whipple.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast, aka The Whip Show. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for going back, watching all those episodes. Last week, we had from Control Your Narrative, you know, EC3's group with the big man, Braun Strowman. We had Psycho Boy Fodder on the show. Thank you for checking that out. Go back and check out all the episodes. And y'all know what to do. Like it, share it, tweet it, 5-star it, comment, all that Instagram, Twitter, algorithm stuff. Just do that. But enough about that. Oh yeah, I forgot. I also got to shout out our other podcasters on the Whip Show platform. Make sure you check out Railing with the Word Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Joe Walker. He got some great episodes coming up. If you haven't seen him already, go back and check his other episodes. Sasha Banks and Naomi, the episode about the Macho Man Randy Savage, and many more. And yeah, you know, go follow the coach too. Check out his thing, Coach's Corner. Ain't no telling what he's talking about. And y'all already know if he insults y'all fans, it ain't my fault. I didn't even want to book him, but he's on the show, so I can't do nothing about it. It's like he's giving me some hard times. Wait, what did I just say? Did I just say hard times? Well, damn. I guess I kind of gave y'all a lead in to who I'm bringing on the show today. I mean, I can introduce this man by name, but I think I'm going to just let him go ahead and introduce himself. Go right ahead.
What's going on, everybody out there? It's the American Dream Dusty Rhodes here with the whip. We're with the whip, baby. We're cracking the whip tonight, if you will. You know what I'm saying here.
Woo-wee! You heard that right now. It might be some polka dots. It might not be. But right now, we got Mr. Mike Raimondi. Matter of fact, how do you say it correctly?
My name is Mike Raimondi, baby, but recently everybody's been calling me the American Dream, you know what I'm saying?
Not the American Dream. We got the American Dream. Oh my God. Okay. I'm fanboying out.
Control yourself. Don't become a mark on your own show, baby. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to become a mark.
You're right. Okay. I'm back together. Dusty, thank you for coming to the show, man.
Of course, baby.
How's it going out there, man?
I just got to say a question. Will people be able to see this video? Will it go out to the public? Will it go out to the public?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to go all the way to the public. It's going to be on
All
going to be on audio. Good. It's going to be on video, everything.
Speaking of video, what do you got there in the background? I see something.
To the fans that are listening to this on audio, I'm going to just move my head and let him see.
There he is right there. There it goes. Look at that. I need one of those hats.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I got to tell you, if you guys haven't seen this man, he was just on WWE Television. Just on WWE Television with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And I'm going to get to that, but I don't want to touch that just yet. I just want to know, when did Dusty become your thing?
All right, well, as we say right now, I'm going to break kayfabe. And I'm going to introduce you to myself. My name is Mike Raimondi. I'm a huge fan of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes and I guess appointed impersonator as of recently. So there's a backstory to all this. I had met Dusty at a convention, I think 2013, and I went wearing full polka dots. So I walk in the convention, I walk in the room, and everybody starts laughing. And he looks up, he goes, "Oh, look at this guy over here, look at this guy." So I finally get to him, and he gives me a big hug. He brings me in for a huge Dusty hug. And he's like, "I love it, baby, I love it, it's nice, I like it." So, we take a picture. He gives me an autograph. I say, "Dusty, I've been going to this event. I went to WrestleMania dressed like this. I went to another event." I said, you know, what do you think? Should I keep it going? He's like, you have to, baby. You have to, baby.
Oh my God.
So I have not been to an event. I've been doing as dressed normally, not as Dusty, since 2013. The first WrestleMania at MetLife. That was the Rock and Cena 2 and Undertaker Punk. So we're going back.
So wait a minute. You got the actual blessing from the American Dream himself?
That's right. I asked him. The polka dots are a touchy subject, and I wanted to make sure he was cool with it, and he loved it. And I have the picture on my Instagram from many years ago. There's a huge smile on his face, and and like I said, I haven't been to a convention or wrestling event not as Dusty since 2013. So
that's wild, man.
And
the reason why I'm bugging out, because you normally see people, they do Hogan, they do Macho Man, you know what I mean? They do Stone Cold Steve Austin. I gotta ask you, and since you brought it up, I was a former pro wrestler myself, and I actually went to a tryout in Florida Championship, and Dusty was there. And me and Dusty kicked it, so just like seeing people talk about Dusty is amazing, because I met him too, and he was saying my catchphrase in front of the people. So I'm like, he was such a great dude, man. So I want to go back to that though. But what made you gravitate to him as opposed to the other guys?
Well, I really just am a common man. I'm a blue collar worker. And as Dusty said, my belly's a little big, my hiney's a little big, but I'm bad, and they know I'm bad. And he just had the personality and charisma and larger than life. And I was a big fan of Dustin growing up, Goldust, and Cody, the whole family. And it started out as just, I made a polka dot shirt, and I wore it to WrestleMania, and it's evolved into something great. And every time I end up going somewhere to an event, something crazy happens. So we know we're gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. So let me ask you this, man. You keep referencing the polka dots, and obviously a lot of us know that was the WWF era. Matter of fact, Seth Rollins, if you ever see that, you were evil mother. What you just did, evil. But how far do you go back with Dusty? Because that was the WWF era. But as we know, the American Dream go back before then. Right. Well, I was a kid watching WWF when it was. And I mean, I'm a kid sitting down watching pay-per-view when Undertaker debuted and destroyed the Dream Team, baby. You know what I'm saying? I had my Dream Team all ready to go. And we got hit with a huge man, you know what I'm saying? The Undertaker, future Hall of Famer, destroyed my team. And I always went polka dots. And I just said to myself, I'm like, I think Dusty was a lot more than just polka dots. So, I just started going back, watching tons and tons of NWA stuff and WCW. But I literally was a kid. When you're a kid, you're just rooting for all the good guys. That's who I was. I was a Hulkamaniac, and then Dusty was feuding, with the best heels: Macho Man, Ted DiBiase, Honky Tonk Man, Big Boss Man, and I just took a liking to him. And then when Dustin broke in, I've just been a Rhodes fan, and Cody, and now it's I followed all their careers.
That's so dope, man. That's so dope, man. So you did the thing recently with Cody, but before we go to that, what were some of the other events where you got noticed at, man?
Well, I went to when they went to AEW, Dustin and Cody, I followed them. And believe it or not, Cody, when he went to AEW, Dusty was kind of unspoken of. He wasn't mentioned, in AEW at all. And I think Cody was kind of hiding, he didn't want to talk about Dusty. So there was an event in the, Prudential Center, New Jersey. And I said, all right, I'm going to go. And I said, should I put the polka dots on? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put them on. I don't know how the response is gonna be. So I put the polka dots on, and I'm on the floor, and CM Punk. Might have been his third appearance in AEW at the time, and he's going to do broadcasting. But before he does, he's going to come out and get tons of cheers. So he comes out and he's walking around the ring and high-fiving people, and he just spots me, and his eyes opened up, and he went like this, and he's like, so he goes, give me an elbow, give me an atomic, give me a bionic elbow. And I'm like, man, this security here, I don't want to get kicked out. It's the beginning of the show. So I did a little one of these, and he did it, and he just says, you know what, I'm going to hang out with you. And he put his arm around me, and he's just, we're on TV, and my adrenaline is pumping, and I'm like, wow. And I had told my wife, I was like, oh, maybe I'll get on TV, watch for me in the crowd. And then my phone is going nuts. And it was, when I hear the commentators, when I watch it back on TV, you hear JR says, oh, polka dots. And I was just like, wow. But what happened after is actually even better. So my adrenaline was pumping. And I got out of my seat, and I'm like, oh, I need to take a minute here. I can't believe what's going on. My phone is blowing up. And this girl, young lady, walking towards me, red hair, and she has a camera and AEW uniform. She works for AEW. And she goes to me, do you mind if I take a picture of you? And I'm like, of course. And I was still really, my adrenaline was pumping. So I look at her, I'm like, you're Dakota Reynolds. You're Dustin's daughter. You're Dusty's granddaughter. She's like, yeah. I was like, I recognize you from social media. And she's like, I had to come say hello to you. And I was like, wow, this night is getting crazy and crazier. And she's like, I love it. She's like, and she got a little emotional. She's such a sweet girl. I mean, to give me the time of day to talk to me. And I took a picture with her, and we kind of stayed like social media friends. Like, she'll like my post and I like her post. Just a sweet girl. And I was just like, and she was just like, this is really awesome. So I was like, wow, what a night.
Man, that's wild. So you already got the blessing from Dusty previously. Then
Yeah.
You got to meet his granddaughter at this event. Now, let's go ahead and go forward then. So how did it come about on WWE television with Cody, man? Because keep in mind, you already said it was kind of unspoken of in AEW with Cody. Was trying to. So when he get to WWE, how does that play out?
So when he went to WWE, I was happy when he went to WWE. I was ecstatic. I said, so I'm watching WrestleMania, and I'm like, I don't know how he's going to handle the whole Dusty thing. And when he did the bionic elbow at WrestleMania, the first thing I said was, I got to keep going with the Dusty. I got to keep it alive. I got to keep that American dream alive and well. You know what I'm saying? Keep chasing that American dream. And I said to myself, I've done so much polka dots. I think it's time to explore, NWA Dusty, his prime per se.
Yeah.
So, I started looking at stuff, and I said, okay, WWE was going to be in Trenton, New Jersey. So I said, I'm going to change the outfit up and go to the event, and maybe he'll notice me. So, and I'm going to go to these events. I'm taking pictures with fans, and fans are asking me to cut promos, and it really is nuts. I mean, it's enjoyable. It's fun. And it's, like I said, people, unfortunately, the man Virgil Reynolds is no longer with us, but it's cool to keep the American dream alive. So I said, I just want Cody to notice me and get a picture, because he's been really unbelievable with the fans, taking pictures, after matches and signing autographs. I said, I just want to get a picture with him, or meet him, or shake his hand. Maybe he'll notice me. So the match was a live event. During the match, Seth Rollins and him are fighting outside the ring, and Seth Rollins actually points to me in the crowd and points me out. And Cody dumps him over the guardrail, and then they're literally fighting right in front of my face, and Cody gives me a look. He looks me up and down and gives me a look. I'm like, wow, I'm like, that was crazy. So then during the match, Seth is having a problem finishing off Cody, and he decides to look at me in the crowd, and he starts taunting me and doing the Dusty jabs and setting up the bionic elbow. And he gives me, before he does the bionic elbow, he gives me the DX chop towards the crowd. And I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, is this really happening? I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, this is, and the guy sitting next to me, he's like, this is crazy. So Cody ends up hitting his, the crossroads 3 times and finishes him. Seth leaves, and then Cody's saying stuff to the crowd, and he goes, something different here tonight. The American Dream Dusty Rhodes is here. I was like, oh, well, he notices me for sure. And I said, all right, I'm going to meet him. Hopefully we take a picture. And he goes, you look the part. And he's like, can you do a Dusty impersonation? And I'm just like, is this really happening? Like, I'm going to go up to Cody Rhodes at a WWE live event and do a Dusty impersonation. And my mind started going. I'm like, what am I going to say? What? This is nuts. I'm like, and the video that went viral, you see me shaking my head no, because I still can't believe what's going on. So he brings me up to the guardrail, and I just did a classic Dusty promo that he cut with an interview with Vince McMahon back in 1977, which was also the beginning of his tribute video. And Cody was just, cracking up. I mean, I can't believe he handed me a microphone, a live microphone at an event in front of 10,000 people. I watched the video and I still can't believe it happened. So he, when the crowd's going nuts, and he gave me a big hug, and I got all emotional. I got all emotional. I'm like, wow, this is something you dream of as a kid, and you just, this is unheard of for a fan experience. I mean, this is an ultimate, and not only does he introduces me as the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. I was like, this is, I'm like, this guy's father legend. And as soon as I started talking, he knew what I was going to say. The first couple words came out of my mouth, and he went, when you can't uncontrollably laugh and you have to go like this, and he starts going like this, and I knew I had him good. And he's laughing and he's smiling, he's having a good time. And, I gave him a big hug. I don't even know what I said to him after it happened. I can't even remember. It happened so fast. He gave me a big hug, and he went on his way, and I was just, to the moon.
This is amazing. And like, fans, I know some of you guys are not watching the video, you're listening to the audio. If you can see his face right now, like, you're still getting emotional even talking about this story.
Yeah,
man.
When I'm having a bad day at work, or I put the video on, and it makes me happy automatically. And it was just like, that is an experience of a lifetime. If you told me it would happen. And so I'm there, and I'm like, oh my God, this just happened. I didn't get it on video. And I'm asking the people around me, I'm like, did you video it? Oh, and people like, yeah, I got a part of it. I got this part of it. I'm like, oh no. So some guy comes up to me with his phone. He's like, buddy, I don't think you're going to need a video. You're going viral. He's like, you're already on wrestling websites. I was like, are you kidding me? And then my phone is just blowing up, because people now are tagging me on Facebook, and I'm just like, this is the day before Backlash. So there was really slow wrestling news on a Saturday night, nothing going on. So it was everywhere. The video was everywhere, and everyone's like, oh my God. And, and I was just like, wow. And the response from the fans amazes me. The comments, and people were like praising me. So, and so, yeah, it's still unbelievable to me. And I'm so glad that the minute, the little time he gave me, that I was, I didn't stutter, and I didn't, follow my words, and I did respect to Dusty, because it's important to me that when I do this, that it's respectful.
For sure.
Because it's, it's got to be respectful, and it's got to be genuine. So, yeah, what a moment. And I really appreciate all the positive feedback I've gotten. It's been unbelievable.
This right here is what dreams, or should I say American dreams, are made of, man.
Yes, this is
crazy,
what you
man.
dream about.
Man, and it's wild because, like I said, in my wrestling days, I was a big Hogan fan. I actually did like a Black Hogan character. So, and I got to meet him in Columbus as Whipomania and as Hogan. So I know how I felt meeting the guy that I love since WrestleMania 3. But with that being said, how does it really feel? Like I said, from the Blessing from Dusty, Dakota, Cody, all those guys really like, hey man, we love you for doing this. How did that feel internally, man? Honestly, to have them bless you with that. Because they could have been like, hey, you got to stop that. That's enough of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if they ever did, if they ever had a problem with it, and I would stop right away. I mean, I have to respect the family. This is their father, their grandfather. To me, it's amazing still. But like I said, I hold it to a high stature when I do it. And, I would never, like I said, I would never want to do anything to upset his family that praises me for doing this. And I just was thinking, like, what are they thinking watching that video? His daughter and his grandkids, and, when it's viral, and I'm just like, his wife,
I can guarantee you, man, you're doing a great thing for them, man, because like I said, he's not here anymore. So when they see you do that and they see you smile, trust me, I know that they feeling something special inside, man. For real. Man. But with that being said, you already talked about the reception you've been getting from the fans, and I've been doing some more research from you. I see there was a certain guy, he used to kind of be a part of a OneWrestling.com. Now he's part of a Sportskeeda, a Mr. Bill Apter, a wrestling legend you were around with the other day. What was that all about, man?
So on Saturday, June 11th, it was unfortunately the 7th anniversary of Dusty's passing. And I had reserved a table at the Legends of the Ring convention in New Jersey as like a Dusty tribute, like to celebrate him. It's like this, we're not going to, I was like, I know it's a hard day for everybody who's involved with him, but so I made a whole bunch of wristbands that had Dusty Rhodes on it. I made some polka dot headbands to give out to people, playing Dusty theme music, taking pictures, and having a lot of fun, trying to have fun with them. People are coming up to me and they're like, oh, you're the guy from, you're with Cody. How did it feel? What did you say to him? And I love when the little kids come up to me and they were like, you were so close to Cody. You were so close to him. And, Bill Apter's been around for like Willie Apter, better known as Willie Apter, what I'm saying, Willie Apter. And he's been around a long time. And when he saw me, he started laughing, and I said, he's like, I love it. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing a tribute to Dusty today. 7 years he passed, and you could tell he was like taken back. He's like, what's today? He's like, you're right. He's like, it is June 11th, and he's like, he tells us because he had his camera all wrapped up. I don't know what he was doing. He goes, get the camera out. He's like, get the other SD card. So, he was amazing to do an interview with me. I mean, he didn't have to do that. I mean, he went out of his way to do an interview with me. And, I spoke from the heart, saying that, the man Virgil Reynolds is gone, but the American dream lives on and lives through his wife and his children and his grandchildren and, the fans. And we just got to, I feel like sometimes like, am I responsible for doing this? Like, this is my job.
Hey, baby, you better take the mantle, brother. You better take the mantle.
Am I worthy of this? Am I worthy of this?
Now, since you already touched on it, and I'm not trying to bring the show to a somber mood, but like I said, I met him before too, and I felt some type of way. How did you feel the actual day that you heard Dusty passed?
My wife actually told me, she was on her phone and she just did a big grasp, like, I'm like, what's wrong? Do we have a leak in the roof? Is the toilet clogged?
Thought it was funny, had to be spit, huh?
Did I leave my laundry on the floor again?
Oh, man.
And she goes, Mike, I have bad news. She goes, Dusty passed. I said, what? So I grabbed my phone and I'm like, no. And I'm like, no. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no. I just thought back. I'm like, I'm so glad I met him and had a moment with him. And, you know, and I will tell you, it felt different putting the polka dots on after he passed. It definitely felt different. It was, you know, it's not, you know, doing in front of him and everything. And, you know, people are very, you know, with Dusty impressions and the polka dots and everything. And I was like, all right, this is different. And then when I think about it, I'm like, if Dusty saw what was going on, two of the hottest guys in wrestling, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, were interacting with a Dusty Rhodes cosplay, which now people say impersonator. So two of the biggest names in 2022, and Dusty's still front and center. Yeah. And I think that's amazing. I think that's just, you know, I want what he's, you know, thinking up there, smiling down, saying, you know, absolutely. I'm still number one, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm the second most recognizable athlete in the world, second only to Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. No pun intended, but it definitely was a legacy as well. My God. Well, it's time to go to another portion of the show. And this segment is called the Mark Out Moment. Now, I kind of think I know what you're going to say, but what the mark out moment is this. It doesn't necessarily mean you go up to somebody, you're like, oh my God! You just straight up fanboy out. But it might be just a situation when you're truly like, I can't believe I'm standing next to, or I can't believe this person is kicking it with me. And you've already talked about a couple situations. But if you were to pinpoint one specific moment that you were like, yo, this is it. I'm here. What would you say was your mark out moment, man?
My mark out moment was at the convention Saturday when I know the Rhodes family loves it, and God bless all of them. You know the show Young Rock?
Yes.
The gentleman who plays the Iron Sheik.
Brett Azaire, yes.
So his table was next to mine Saturday.
Okay.
So he was talking to some of the fans, and he was saying how, you know, they're going to continue with the seasons. And a few of the fans said to him, listen, if Dusty is going to be on this show, there is only one person that is going to play him, and is that man right there. And that got me almost more than anything, that I was like taken back. And multiple people said it to him. And he even said, he goes, this guy is, listen, I can't say, you know, I can't say anything. He's good. He's definitely doing his thing. And he said, you know, The Rock has all the say in the show. He's like, but obviously people know who you are, so you never know. So that, to me, when the fans are saying stuff like that, that's a mark out for me. That's a mark out moment.
Man, that's crazy. But now, since you said that, and when I go back and edit this, I'm going to put exclusive right underneath your name. So are you going to give me an exclusive and say, we're going to see you on the next season? Or you can't say that. It's like an NDA or something, man. You know what I'm saying? You already signed an NDA. I get it. I'm not going to tell.
Well, you know what? If you think, you know, I said to myself, it would be amazing to see Cody and, you know, you picture it in your head, you know, what happened to me at the event. So maybe if I picture in my head playing Dusty on their show, it'll happen.
Manifestation.
Right. I'm not going to get over my head. You know, I'm not going to start, you know, fantasizing about it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, listen, crazier things have happened to me wearing this Dusty attire, and all good things have happened to me. So I'm just going to keep doing my thing, and whatever happens, happens. I'm having fun. And the people, you know, the fans have been awesome. And, you know, some people tell me, you know, you really touched me when you did the Dusty and, you know, with Cody, and people were putting like emojis of crying, like how emotional it was. And I really didn't think that it touched people the way it did. And it's flattering. It's humbling and flattering because, baby, I'm just a common man, go to work every day, sweating, working, with my hands, and then, putting on my boots, strapping on my boots, and, spending time with my family, and, so.
Yo, NBC, I'm tagging you. I'm tagging Young Rock. I'm tagging $7 Production. Y'all all get tagged. Hey, and don't worry, I only want 5% when they book you. Don't worry about it. That's all I want. No, I'm joking.
Listen.
Because I mean, Dusty and Rock had to cross paths. I mean, they had to. You know what I mean? And sometimes
yeah, I'm sure his father had to cross paths, and they're gonna have to do some magic of film because I'm a lot shorter than Dusty was in real life.
And did you see when Undertaker was on there? He was only like 6'1", so it's fine. Don't worry about it. Camera tricks, baby. Undertaker's like 7 feet. He was like right here, man. Come on, you're fine.
But it's another dream you have. It's it's. Who knows? Who I have no idea what direction they're going. But the way, even for fans, just to say it to him, and pointing at me, and I'm like, what are they talking about over there? And like he says, and I go over there, and he was maybe like 20 feet away from me, and they were saying, "This is the guy. This is the guy." And he starts laughing. He's such a gentleman. What a class act, really a class act. And they even talk to me because I'm just a common man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a common working man. And it's so that to me was the fan, the fan response. I know the Rhodes response, and it's, like I said, positive, and but the fan response was just baffling to me. And I like when people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, Dusty," and then I start talking and they start laughing and taking pictures, and next thing you know, people are like, "Oh, can you cut me a promo? Cut me a promo." And hard times, daddy, thing when a hard times. And so I'm just gonna listen. I made Dusty a promise that I can't break, and I think he has a lot to do with it. I feel that he's, Dusty is still the booker up there. I feel.
That's blessed, man. But you already talked about like how the fans were promoting you and everything. Brett Azar loves what you're doing. One thing I've already noticed, you are committed to this. Because like you said, there's a lot of people that do the little Dusty voice thing. But have you always been in your life the type of person, if you love something, you're going all in. You're not just putting your foot in the water. Yeah. You're jumping into the deep end.
I mean, this blonde hair did not grow overnight. This is bleach blonde hair.
Whoa! I thought you were imitating Slim Shady. Eminem. Oh, my bad. I didn't know. Wait a minute. Hi, my name is. Oh, okay. I get
it. No. I watched tons of. I've seen the polka dot stuff so much, and I really went back and watched a ton of his stuff to try and be accurate of, how he talked and his facial expressions. And then when people tell me, they're like, "Well, you look like a young," I start looking at myself. I'm like, my God, I'm like, I really am looking like him. I'm like, I'm not giving myself enough credit. And people giving me credit. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is, this is really, but yeah, you gotta go on. And Cody even said it. He goes, Dusty never did anything for second place. The view never changes, baby. The view never changes.
It's wild that we're doing this episode, man, because about 2 weeks ago, I found a video. I don't know if you ever seen it, but I actually put it up on my YouTube channel of Dusty playing basketball. It was the NWA versus the Charlotte All-Star Police. Have you seen that game? And Dusty was getting buckets, man. I was like, hey, Dusty for three. Dusty was on a fast break. I thought he was going to dunk at one point, man. And that video's probably got more views than any video on my channel. it's funny you said about Dusty. I'm like, he's still making waves all these many years later, bro.
Isn't Yes, that's the crazy part. And I think when Cody came back to WWE, and the night after Mania, he went on Raw and he said what he said about Dusty. He put Dusty on the Titantron, and what he said about winning the championship belt. And Cody is a passionate guy, and he is. I just got to say, he's an amazing man. I mean, he really is. The connection with the fans. He's hard on himself. He's always saying, "I'm not Dusty. I'm not my father," which he's not. But if he's doing something at a Dusty's page that made Dusty, his connection with the fans, especially the younger fans right now, is amazing. And I don't know if you saw the two kids that went to an event recently in full Cody outfits.
Yes.
So hopefully people looking at me and saying, "I got to step up my cosplay game. You don't even know what's going to happen." So he's connecting with the fans better than he ever has. And it's just by being himself and telling, this is someone who misses his dad. His dad was his hero, and he wanted to make his dad proud. And I think he is, and he's a father now, and he has tunnel vision for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I think, Cody mentions that he's a little, about 1977, Dusty fighting for the belt and not winning it, and the count out. And I do feel maybe there still is resentment for when Dusty went there in 1989 and was not brought in as a main eventer.
Right.
And I mean, it was a tough time to become a main eventer when you had Hogan and the Warrior leading the way. But was there room for Dusty to be number one there at the time? Was there room for Dusty to maybe beat Sergeant Slaughter and hold the belt?
It's funny you're saying that, because I've always wondered that myself. But I since we're going to go down that route, I've always felt that the WWF, WWE always had a problem with guys that came from somewhere else. And if you recall, what was the $1 million man's manager, whatever he was? We call him a manager now, but back then, I'm going to say, I know we called him in the hood, but, whatever. But his name was what? His name was Virgil.
His name was Virgil.
And if you recall,
it sounds familiar. I know it from somewhere. I can't put my finger on it.
Now this could be historically inaccurate, but I've always heard a rumor that WWF was upset back then that they couldn't get Prime Dusty. So they did the Virgil thing to make fun of him. So when they did finally get Dusty, they felt like he wasn't when Dusty was going against Ric Flair and all those great guys. So they wanted to kind of make they did kind of want to make fun of him.
This is still a debate today with the polka dots, and is it a rib? I mean, how many years later, and we still don't really know.
Yeah.
The thing I think of is, you can bring Flair in after Dusty left and shoot him right to the top as a heel. Why couldn't it have been done with Dusty? And I know we know a lot more now. I'm watching as a kid, and you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
But when you really think of it, if they brought Dusty in as what he was in NWA, a tough, ass-kicking, son of a plumber, do they say, hey, listen, but he fought all the major heels, Honky Tonk Man, Big Boss Man, Macho King, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He had all the feuds and matches with the best heels during that time, but never was put in that main event, world title.
But think about this, though, man. I've always said this, especially back then, WWF was heavy in cartoon-style wrestlers. But even though they were, the guys who were on top, your Hulk Hogan, he still was more of a real person. Dusty came in, and yes, he said he was the son of a plumber. Do you remember what they first made him do? He did a vignette actually being a plumber. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was the basis of that, man?
Right.
Like, he was unclogging a toilet. And like, I know they wanted to put over the common man thing.
You can trust your car with the man who wears the star, baby.
I just always felt they had something, whatever reason, they had something against him. But going back to what you said about Cody now, it's crazy because we look at Cody now. Even when he was there before, he was doing his thing, but then of course Stardust and all that stuff. But for years, we looked at it as Dustin was the big bro and the guy, and Cody was little brother. Nothing against Dustin, but as we know, that's shifted, man.
Yeah.
Like now, Cody is the guy. I mean, I listen to Busted Open. A shout out to De La Greca and all those guys that are Busted Open all the time. They talk all the time like, yo, he might be the one that takes out the tribal chief.
It sure is looking that way. I mean, you know, he is, you know, it's overused, undeniable, but he left. He made himself something that can't be taken away. He is the American Nightmare.
Yeah.
That is him. You cannot, it's not a gimmick. It's him. This is who he is, you know, and his story is true. He wants to be the best professional wrestler in the world. I mean, that's very overused in the business. And he's like, this is what I'm going for. And yeah, I am Dusty's son. You know, I'm not Dusty. I'm his son. And, you know, I'm pissed, you know, and it's a really sad about his injury and him having to take time out because he was, as they were saying in the industry, white hot.
Ooh.
I mean, white hot. I mean everything. And it's a big bummer, but everybody loves a comeback story, baby.
Yes,
Everybody loves a comeback story. Those comeback stories, if you think about the ones that you popped 4 years ago, the Triple H comebacks in the Garden,
yeah,
the Cena at the Rumble. Actually, I was at both of those live. Both of those happened in the Garden.
So you felt that energy going crazy.
Oh yeah, that Triple H comeback at the Garden, that crowd, that reaction was amazing. The Cena was a little different because nobody expected him to be there, and it was. So I've been there in person for 2 crazy comebacks, and he will have his day. He will have, you know, he's just gonna have to rehab and take it easy and spend time with his family, and you know, wish him the best. And Cody seems that he eats, sleeps, breathes professional wrestling. He is crazy hard worker, kind of like Cena. It's very similar.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, he'll be back better than ever. And I don't think there's any stopping him to reaching his goal.
Man,
I don't think there's any stopping him.
Y'all heard that? He's telling y'all right now. He said it. I did. He said he's there. He said he's there. You heard it right from Dusty's mouth, man.
Straight from my loins, baby. You know, straight from my loins. That I do have to say, I just want to take a little side road. I have met Dustin before. I met him at an independent show wearing the polka dots right before he had that match with Orton to go back into WWE. So we're talking about 2014. And the man, he had a half hour to 45-minute conversation with me, and couldn't have been nicer. And as soon as he saw me, he comes out, and I said to myself, oh, I don't know if he's going to like this polka dots. I don't know what he's going to think. And he literally was going over to the table to, you know, start taking pictures. So he literally came up to me first, gave me a huge handshake, and gave me a huge hug. And he appreciated it. And I had my friends with me and my wife, and they were just in shock because, you know, this was the first time I really had like a experience with a wrestler, and he couldn't be nicer. And he's had some career too. And, you know, so I don't want to forget him because he, great dude, just a great down to earth dude. I read his book. He had wrote a book. Yeah, so another class act. All the Rhodes, class acts, Dakota, Dustin, Cody, Dusty's daughter, Teal, sometimes will like some of my tweets, my Dusty related tweets. My wife actually made me a polka dot birthday cake in April for my birthday, and I tagged her in it, and she commented, "Very nice or awesome."
Oh my God.
So,
Look, man.
I'm like unofficial. I'm an unofficial.
I was about to say, just go down to the Chief of Justice, change your last name tomorrow. What is it, 250? Just go ahead and change your last name tomorrow, man. Go ahead, just go down there, man. Before the weekend. We already have it ready for Monday, man.
So I remember telling my wife, I'm like, all right, your cake has been Rhodes approved. They approve of your cake, your polka dot cake. So and I told Dakota, I'm originally a Brooklyn guy, New York guy, and I live in New Jersey now. And I told her, isn't it weird? You think Dusty was so Texas and so Florida that a guy like me from New Jersey is the Dusty? Like no one else anywhere has done this, and he's touched so many people. I said, you think someone from Florida or Texas would be representing him, but it's me.
And you know what's crazy though, since you talked about that, obviously he was a favorite of so many wrestlers. You know, there's a very popular wrestler from Florida that says that Dusty was his favorite. Are you familiar who I'm talking about?
That's a big list. You're gonna have to.
It is. I know. This guy, he's immortal. He's also sometimes goes to Hollywood. I mean, his favorite colors are red, yellow, black, and white. I mean,
is he the third man though? Is he the third man?
Yes, he is, man. In Hogan's book, he wrote about seeing Dusty, even though I think Dusty always was like, wait a minute, you're not that much younger than me. But anyway, Hogan tried to make it seem like he was so young and he got to see Dusty. You know, right. Hogan tends to work a little bit when he says certain things. But
another thing that happens is a lot of wrestlers, Jacques Rougeau, who also was the Mountie, I saw him at a convention and I was all in the Dusty, get up doing the Dusty, and he talked to me and he told me that Dusty had given his first job in the business.
Wow.
Multiple people have told me that Dusty gave me my first shot. Dusty gave me my first shot to get, and you know, it's crazy. I mean, I've heard this from multiple people at conventions and you know, talking to, you know, the legends and things like that. You know, Dusty gave me my first shot. He had me, you know, doing the ring or driving the wrestlers, or, you know, he gave me, you know, and, you know, if you want to talk about NXT, it seems like Dusty had a knack for finding the best in people. And that's been said by multiple people, Paige and Becky Lynch. Yeah. And Dusty to me is almost like like a scout for the New England Patriots. He can find those diamonds in the rough. You know what I'm talking about when you got a team that just picks you know, who is this? And next thing you know, they're on top. Who is Tom Brady?
If I recall, I believe it was Seth and Bailey, or obviously multiple people. They called themselves Dusty's Kids.
Right, the Dusty's Kids. You know, those are my stepchildren. You know, my NXT kids. And not only so, if you think of Dusty, of how many generations he's touched in wrestling, and his final, you know, what he did finally. So he's touched 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. He's touched the whole wrestling world, his whole career, and he put a nice bow on it when he, you know, when he was doing NXT, and, you know, all these, you know, he gets so much credit, which he deserves. And, you know, I think that's why his name is still big with everybody. I mean, he left a huge, huge mark in the business. And I laughed when, I don't know if you remember the Raw after WrestleMania, Cody was saying that he told Dusty, oh, you know, that's the belt that Hulk Hogan held. And the crowd booed Hulk Hogan. I don't think a crowd anywhere would ever boo Dusty.
Oh, absolutely.
And And I've had Dusty chants at events that I've been to, started because I was there and the crowd chanting Dusty. It's not for me, obviously, but it's a reminder that he's there and they're cheering Dusty, they're chanting Dusty.
All these years later, man.
And I don't think anyone's getting that.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm glad we went here because now it's time for my next segment. Now, this segment is called Book Yourself. Now, we're going to do a little differently today because normally when I interview pro wrestlers, I tell them to book themselves in a situation either in the past, present, or future where they will be best utilized. However, since we got Dusty right here, if you were to book Dusty right now, it's something that he might have never got a chance to do. I'm putting the Booker hat on you, Dusty, because Dusty had the Booker hat and the Booker pencil anyway. So right now, I want you to book Dusty Rhodes somewhere in professional wrestling in 2022. Off the top of your head.
Where would I book Dusty in 2022?
A manager, wrestler, official, or anything.
I'd have to see. Yeah, if I'm gonna book him, I'd want to see him wrestle. I want to see him out there. If I could book him today, I would want Dusty to show, you know what, MJF, it's time that you have some respect for this business. You just don't walk in here 25 years old thinking you could do and say whatever you want to do. You got to pay your dues, baby. And the best way to pay your dues is to come against a bull of woods, if you will. And I'm going to show you some hard times. You've had it too easy over there going right to the top, baby. So I'm going to show you what it's like to pay your dues.
Well, MJF, you better keep hiding because you think Tony Khan. You better keep hiding because Dusty is coming for that ass. Woo!
You want to talk about money, baby? What kind of... You're talking about you want to make all that money, baby? You got to earn that money, baby. I spent years, sleeping in my car and eating pork and beans and sleeping in alleys. I just didn't wake up and become the American Dream. You just can't wake up and say, I'm from Long Island. I can do and say and get whatever I want. No, it's time to pay your dues. And I, believe it or not, I booked him because I think currently he's got my attention and one of the biggest stars in the industry now with the biggest potential now. And that is why I chose to book him.
That is a
great pick. It would be the common man who's paid his dues, who's paid so much dues versus, someone who's definitely talented in every way. I can't say he's not talented. He's got everything going for him. But I think he needs to be, like I said, pay his dues. I don't think he's paid enough dues. I think, he's that would be it, definitely.
You just popped me by saying that. I'm just sitting here thinking about the verbal jousting between Dusty and MJF. Do you understand? Oh my God. And they finally get to that match and Dusty hitting him with that bionic elbow. Oh my God. I'm about to go create them on 2K22 or something and had a match and then put it on man.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, we got to hit the WWE 2K22.
Right, the community and put that on. That's amazing.
Download some creator wrestlers and
oh my God.
Have a dream.
Okay, all right. You've been popping me all this whole episode,
I can still, it's been a long time, but I can still put that Booker hat on and I can still fill an arena, you know what I'm saying? Fill an arena with people, eating popcorn and getting loud and rowdy and making people happy, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I gotta ask you, man, as we go towards the end of the show, what's next for you, man? What do you got coming up? I mean, Comic Cons, wrestling conventions, just going to more shows. What you got coming up, man?
I'm pretty much just gonna anything. Actually, in the New Jersey area, Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, they're gonna have it's like wrestling day. So they're going to have an event. They're going to have some wrestlers there, Mick Foley, Sammy Guevara, who I think is very talented too, take Ty Conti, other people. So but if as Dusty would, baby, I'm going to take my family. We're going to go on the rides. We're going to eat some ice cream and hot dogs and maybe, watch a little wrestling. So I will be there Saturday, and I think I'm still debating it, but I think I'm going to go back to the polka dots for Saturday. I think it'll be easy to spot me out in the crowd, in a big crowd.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I just want to say what you're saying, like where you go. I really never, besides getting the table and doing the tribute to Dusty recently, I never had a plan. I just went. That's the beauty of it. I literally just went to the events, and unfortunately, my friends used to come with me, but they've had enough. They've had enough with the stopping for pictures and the promos, and my best friends have had enough, and they like, this is unenjoyable for us. And I said, well, listen, you know what happens something always happens when I dress as Dusty. Almost something always happens. So, yeah, it really, like I said, nothing, just put it on, go, have a good time, and good things happen. And that's the beauty of it. I always tell people, people, when the video came out, they're like, Dusty Rhodes impersonating. And I was like, I'm just a fan. I'm a family man. I'm, regular 9 to 5 blue collar guy that just, puts it on and, does the whole shtick. And like I said, I did nothing special that night that Cody handed me the microphone. I just paid, just paying homage to Dusty.
Fans, don't listen to him. He's actually got a residency in Vegas right now at the Bellagio. It's starting next week. You know what I'm saying? You can see him right next to MJ Live. You can see him 7 days a week. You go to MJ Live first in the Stratosphere, then you go to Bellagio to see him, man.
I reserve the Stratosphere for me and you.
Okay, bro. Oh, man. So with that being said, man, I've had a great time today. And when I finish up, do not leave. But it's time for our final segment of the evening. This segment is called Ring the Bell. What Ring the Bell is really simple. I give you 60 seconds to talk about anything. You can talk about what you did today. You can talk about your personal life. You can talk about what you ate today. And you can give some inspirational words, whatever you want to do. But it's on you, Dustin. You got 60 seconds. Can you ring the bell?
60 seconds. I just want to say, get well soon to Cody Rhodes. I know that, you're going through a hard time right now, and everything's going to be all right. And you're a fighter, and I just want to really, really thank you for the experience that you gave me and the opportunity you gave me, and to fulfill a fan's dream is really amazing. I don't even know what I said to you after that moment. My adrenaline was pumping, and I literally almost blacked out. I can't even remember what I said. I know you gave me a big high five, and I gave you a hug, and I really, really appreciate the whole Rhodes family being behind me, and it really is amazing, and it's very humbling, and I can't thank Cody enough for what he did and the opportunity he gave me. So if I could, 60 seconds is not enough time to thank him, but get well soon. And I really hope our paths cross again, because it was a phenomenal, fun time.
That's awesome, man. Man, you definitely Dusty, man. You went from having me cheering, you took me down, you brought me up just like an emotional roller coaster, just like Dusty, man. All right. But with that being said, you know what? Hold up. First of all, let me do my closeout, but then I got one more thing to say to you. So hold on. Well, guys, first of all, thank you very much for listening to this amazing episode. I know you guys had fun watching this one and listening to this one just as much as I did, and I hope Dusty did. Dusty, could you throw out your contact information if they do want to follow up with you? check in or whatever?
Yeah, you could follow me because my friends and family were annoyed at all the Dusty stuff. I created my own Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's called Hupp Entertainment, Hupp Entertainment. That was just a nickname I had as a kid, and I just came up with it. And so I don't, kill all my friends and family with all this Dusty stuff 24 hours. I made an alternative social media, and that's what I called it. Just follow me for more. My past stuff is on there, pictures from years ago, and hopefully things in the future. Hupp Entertainment. It's all there, and I appreciate all the support.
That's so dope, man. And that's good, because that way you can get some fans that respect and love what's going on. They don't run away like your friends did. They had all the pictures. You know what I'm saying? Tell him if they would have dressed up like Sapphire, they could have got some pictures too. You know what I mean? No, they don't want to be Sapphire, though. Well, they want to be Sapphire.
The funny thing is, my friend said, what do you think? You're going to dress as Dusty and Cody's all of a sudden going to go down there and talk to you? And yes, baby, I haven't keep chasing that American dream. That's my message. Get a dream, hold on to it, and shoot for the sky.
Well, guys, I want to thank you once again for watching this episode. Y'all know what to do. Share it, tweet it, comment it 5 stars from Deshaun, Whip Dog Whipple, and Dusty. Thank you very much. And you know what? I'm going to put him on the spot. I want him to close out with a Dusty promo. Hit me with a quick one to close out, man.
This is the American dream. I had an amazing time here at the mothership, baby, with the whip. And I just want to say, I love you, baby, and God bless.
Amen. Thank you very much. And we will see you next time on the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, a.k.a. The Whip Show. Thank you very much. See y'all next time.